My name is Carlos. I'm part of the also Chilean squad here. So thanks to the for Startup Chile perfect introduction. So I can complement that information from our perspective and what we want to share with you guys today, and what's our feedback towards the ecosystem you guys have built in few years. So that's basically our region right there, and we would like very much to share you guys more a tactical and a strategical way of seeing how we can help startups from our perspective, in particularly from an incubator's way of seeing how to build a global mindset. So from that way, you already heard collaboration, networking, going global 100 times. So there you go, there you have global perspective, and how we put on the value for startups for them to have high impact in early stage time and having scaling strategy to go in future is the way we try to help them from a business incubator. So how do we do this, and what's the main point of kind of presenting soft landing and mixing it up with open innovation? So basically, how do we do it? It's basically done with training. It's okay to put your value proposition on a local market and start to build up feedback and traction locally, and then thinking big. But how are you going to do it if you're going to not know the other market? You need some research. And in particular way, how we do it from Chile. So the opportunity for us from South America to the world, it's offering our gains and our perspective, which is like basically upon three main subjects. From the Global Entrepreneur Index, what's our feedback towards that aspect is basically three things. One, like the major points we have in our favor. One, it's like the quality or the mindset of entrepreneurs, the risk acceptance, and the opportunity for innovation. So basically you have entrepreneurs with amazing attitude, global mindset, thanks to kind of us with our kind of education for them, the risk acceptance in a small market that you need more traction in a very hard way, and the opportunity to doing innovative products, services, business models, or strategy. And well, there's our space in Chile. That's the Innovation Center in Católica University. So that's how we can work open innovation for startups. This ecosystem in the campus works through, besides all the businesses and foundations and innovation labs, whatever, you can get the key element of being inside a university, and that brings us to help startups with relevant study and research areas such as engineering, construction, geology, business, economy, physics, etc., which all the parts from the academia. That works through, among all the innovation and precise places we have to do innovation would be basically all the applied science labs and workflows places to do all this feedback, and all the teleconferences places, seminars, workshops, and all the kind of services we do to do international summits or science and digital innovation technologies with mixing up the university, startups, and companies. So once we are building all this procedure, we try specifically to aim of getting all this network done, and because we work for startups, how we can do it, building this relation between university, startups, and the companies all in one place, and that's kind of like our core value, which states not in a massive way, but more like a quality way. We don't have lots of hundreds of thousands of startups as Startup Chile has, but we work more on quality. What that means, we have several, but these are the main pivoting programs. We have 4 startups that come through the university, 4 students, 4 researchers, are for academics to build their startups from the core of an academic issue, or startups that come all the way abroad from the national region, from South America or from the world. And those are all like, that's the whole spectrum on how we help them building their strategy locally. And well, I don't want to waste time on the phase or what's the program to, but I think it works through conclusion. And the other side of the program will be all the back force of the Innovation Center would be more than 100 companies from relevant industries that aim to either retail, agriculture, fintech, smart cities, banks, et cetera, that are right there in the Innovation Center working either for their problems, for their solutions, or looking opportunity in startups. So we can have them right there to work directly. So why us? Not in a more like a selling way of putting the incubator. It's how do we do all this procedure? Basically, it's, like I said before, it would be training. So it's the focus on making startups achieve their strategic goal that usually starts local. So you do a project that starts putting your value proposition in a local aspect and then start putting more business model, strategy, and try to getting more traction. So the other would be soft landing experience with our partners that are, in particular, are Mexico, Colombia, and Silicon Valley, which we have direct contact to them to have mentors, venture capitals, and spaces to do workflow through those countries. Then would be the relevant collections and networking in the Chilean entrepreneur ecosystem and access to companies directly from the Innovation Center and access to international mentors from the university and from other universities abroad. Basically, objectives are kind of in a general way to achieve this relevant network. And of course, always thinking or start working local, but thinking global. And in that way, it's fine, okay, thinking global, but then you have to actually do it. It's not only thinking, but actually do it. And once you get to the part to doing it, it's either doing more like a classic way of getting a joint venture strategy to getting a distributor or someone abroad to do the help for you. That's one thing. That's okay. That's kind of a handshake with someone in another country. Other thing is a soft landing experience in which you get someone from that country to help you build your core business model and help you through basically financial help. That it's not easy. Then would be defining if it's going to be your market, the South American market, or it's going to be other market in the region. Would be the US, Europe, Asia, etc. And that would be designing your strategy for that. It's not every strategy doing for all markets. I've heard lots of projects that start with some core value, then you put it in other place and it doesn't work because just the cultural distances won't help you doing your program. And that's kind of an issue. So all this sums up in this kind of training. It's training their mindset, going through the basis of what your innovation is, your core value proposition, questioning if this is a true innovation or is it just basically a good business, and training your mindset through applied relevant ecosystem issues and actually finishing your project, because all this is early stage, and having your early stage approach actually in other country. So for our process, in which I personally do form part of the training, is the incubation training for these two categories of programs, in which you have digital startups and science-based tech startups, boot camps, pitch challenge, basically kind of classic way for that way, but it's different when you have international investors and people that already been in the international scene. Permanent assessment, mentoring, activity plans, a budget towards not a general issue, but having actually a plan, a specific plan on how you're gonna build your business here in Chile or in South America. And the business agenda. Everything, this is all up to here is okay, beautiful idea, but you need a business agenda, how you're gonna take advantage of big clients and how they're gonna make you build that future. So all this converges into a workflow of not only thinking, but actually doing by the help of an incubator that has these two main forces: the companies from an innovation center and the university with all the knowledge and all the technical issues you need to cover, when sometimes you don't have that. So all the technological knowledge, the market knowledge, and the financial resources bearers, we try to provide help in that. Because open innovation, getting startups to talk to big companies is not just giving a phone call or an email or give them just one pager of your project. Actually, you have to match your solution with the big company need finding. So we do all the management of calling all the companies, doing all the research, getting done with the need findings, and do the open call for startups to match those clusters. And we run the event. It's like today I would be here explaining my pitch of my project, and then would be just companies that match with that solution. And that's when, after that, you get actually to work with them. So that's a kind of perspective of the soft landing for the open innovation. It's not only open innovation for matching startups with companies. One thing is that locally works very good. But what other thing completely different is having different kind of companies or businesses that are already mature with startups abroad. What I mean, that if I get a call for applied for markets and you have companies there, it's different if I offer just Chilean startups, that I show them Thailand startups or Asian or startups from Europe or other countries. That gets the variety wide open. Then it's the need finding and solutions for market fit. So if we do the soft landing actually really soft with straight up investment or public funds, it's completely easier. It should be easier for the startup to, okay, breathe, have a cash flow, and have it easy for starting working right away. And all the kind of the back office in Chile, you have four public funds leading for early stage. This is all early stage traction. And that's really important. I was all the way coming through the projects, and I was asking, what's your traction? And they couldn't answer much more. Besides the part of the English, they were like, what do you mean by traction? Like, how many users do you have? What are you doing? What's been in your business and what's been happening? And that's really important. So when you have public funds to start working to get that information, it gets much easier, and then you can be different from an entrepreneur and a startup. So it's starting and going up really, it should be faster. And in that way, to finish and summing up, I think there's a huge opportunity, and these couple of days here with the event, we think is completely relevant to share this perspective to you guys, which for us, it's amazing to see how in 3 to 5 years, the ecosystem in entrepreneurial innovation in Thailand has been going up in really fast ways. And for us, it's kind of like it's like an amazing feedback for looking up for other markets and having the way to relate to each other in what that means. That basically all the feedback you guys heard from the last discussion aims to the same thing. You have lots of startups with great and amazing core value propositions, but when you ask them, okay, do you think this project is going to sell maybe abroad, or are you willing to go next week to Silicon Valley? Are you willing to go next week to other country to prospect if I have the clients? And they will be like, I don't know. This project is just maybe for Asia, which is okay. It's fine, because Asia is a huge market. But that tells you about the mindset. So I think we have great opportunities to work together, either with a soft landing projects, either Thai startups to go to prospect market in South America, or either way, or we as an incubator help and having more kind of a feedback for telling startups here how to work through your core value and look global. I know it sounds kind of repetitive, but it's the best way of explaining it and putting it in perspective. So that's kind of the image that matches this up. Having a soft landing for startups, either from South America, for a small country like Chile, with a huge market and a raising ecosystem like Thailand. That's welcome picture for Santiago anyways. You wanna look it up. Thank you very much.